Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaura Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to His Holiness Chandramauli Maharaj's daily call, daily class. So happy to have you all here. We are continuing our reading of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 14, verse number 34. And by your mercy, your blessings and empowerment, I pray that I will be able to do justice to this service that has been given to me today. Kindly give me your blessings. I offer you my humble obeisances. Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So let me do the screen share of that particular verse we were talking about. And that way you will get to see it on the screen. Now, just to give you some context, who is speaking? Yudhishthir Maharaj. Yudhishthir Maharaj is asking Arjun many questions because he had got to Dwarka and he wants to know what is happening in Dwarka. Why are there so many inauspicious omens? Has Krishna left the planet? Is everything all right in Dwarka? So he's asking many questions. And we are getting to hear that dialogue right now. So Yudhishthir Maharaj is speaking to Arjun and he's asking these questions. And the verse goes like this. But before that, we will offer Mangalacharan prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So 1:14:34 again, and I hope everyone can see it's on the screen. Bhagavan api Govindo Brahmanyo Bhaktavatsalah Kachit pure sudharmayam sukham aste suridvritaha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Is Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who gives pleasure to the cows, the senses, and the brahmanas, who is very affectionate towards his devotees, enjoying the pious assembly at Dwarakapuri, surrounded by friends? Purport. Here, in this particular verse, the Lord is described as Bhagavan, Govinda, Brahmanya, and Bhaktavatsal. He is Bhagavan Swayam, or the original, supreme personality of Godhead, full with all opulences, all power, all knowledge, all beauty, all fame, and all renunciation. No one is equal to or greater than him. He is Govinda because he is the pleasure of the cows and the senses. Those who have purified their senses by the devotional service of the Lord can render unto him real service and thereby derive transcendental pleasure out of The Lord is a protector of the cows and the Brahminical culture. A society devoid of cow protection and Brahminical culture is not under the direct protection of the Lord, just as the prisoners in the jails are not under the protection of the king, but under the protection of a severe agent of the king. Without cow protection and cultivation of the Brahminical qualities in human society, at least for a section of the members of society, no human civilization can prosper at any length. By Brahminical culture, the development of the dormant qualities of goodness, namely truthfulness, equanimity, sense control, forbearance, simplicity, general knowledge, transcendental knowledge, and firm faith in the Vedic wisdom, one can become a Brahmana and thus see the Lord as he is. After surpassing the Brahminical perfection, one has to become a devotee of the Lord, so that his loving affection in the form of proprietor, master, friend, son, and lover can be transcendently achieved. The stage of a devotee which attracts the transcendental affection of the Lord does not develop unless one has developed the qualities of a Brahmana, as above mentioned. The Lord is inclined to a Brahmana of quality and not of false prestige. Those who are less than a Brahmana by qualification cannot establish any relation with the Lord, just as fire cannot be kindled from the raw earth unless there is wood, although there's a relationship between wood and the earth. Since the Lord is all perfect in himself, there could not be any question of his welfare. And Maharaj Yudhishthir refrained from asking this question. He simply inquired about his residential place, Dwarakapuri, where pious men assemble. The Lord stays only where pious men assemble and takes pleasure in their glorifying the supreme truth. Maharaj Yudhishthir was anxious to know about the pious men and their pious acts in the city of Dwarka. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I offer my humble obeisances to my spiritual master, His Holiness Candramauli Maharaj, by whose mercy my eyes, which were tightly shut by the darkness of ignorance, have been opened by the torchlight of knowledge. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Candramauli Swami Niti Namini Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashatyadi Shatarini. So here, a very beautiful description of the Lord is given in the translation of the verse itself. Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmanya Hitaya Cha Jagat Ditaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. We say this prayer every day, isn't it? Let me see if I can pull up the translation for you, because it is so beautiful. Devaya. When do we say this prayer? We say this prayer when we offer prasadam, bhog, isn't it? We say Namo Brahmanya Devaya, Go Brahmanya Hitaya Jagaditaya Krishnaya, Govindaya Namo Namaha. What is the translation? There we go. CC Madhya Leela. Namo Brahmanya Devaya, Go Brahmanya Hitaya Jagaditaya Krishnaya, Govindaya Namo Namaha. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto Lord Krishna, who is the worshipable deity for all Brahminical men, who is the well-wisher of the cows and the Brahmanas, and who is always benefiting the whole world. I offer my repeated obeisances to the personality of Godhead known as Krishna, and Govinda. So you see over here the same thing Yudhishthira Maharaj is saying, because Krishna, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, is called Govinda. Govinda means one who gives pleasure to the cows, to the senses, and Namo Brahmanya Devaya, to the Brahmins. He's very affectionate towards his devotees. That's Bhakta Vatsal. We have a godbrother called Bhakta Vatsal in Slovenia. So he is the Lord himself, but he gives great pleasure to the cows. Why? Because the cow is his favorite animal. He's always herding the cows. He's always playing with the cows and the calves. He loves the cows and the cows love him. He gives pleasure to the senses because he's the source of all pleasure. He's beauty himself. He's sweetness, he's joy, he's happiness, he's love, he's laughter and fun and playfulness and everything combined to make the heart happy. The sight of him is very beautiful. The sound of his flute is mesmerizing, enchanting the whole universe. It is said that when Krishna plays his flute, everyone becomes stunned and they stand like still pictures, still images in the painting. That's the description in Krishna book given. He's so stunning in his beauty and in his playing of the flute. And the gopis cannot resist. They leave everything and come running to be with Krishna. That's how attractive Krishna is. He's all attractive. Now, how can we understand all these things? We are hearing all this in theory, but how can we also understand Krishna and begin to enjoy the sight of Krishna, the smell of Krishna, the taste of Krishna, the sound of Krishna? Through purified senses only it is possible. And how do we purify our senses, which are at present materially contaminated? By the process of pure devotional service. Only then the impure conditioned living entity can begin to understand what is Krishna. Ata Shri Krishna Namadi na bhave grayam indriyai sevan mukhe hi jivado swayam evam spurat yadha. No one can understand Krishna by the blunt material senses. Let's go to that one also. Ata Shri Krishna Namadi. So sorry, today I'm doing both hosting and giving the class. Satyabhama Mataji is very, very busy in her temple and she requested me to do that. There we go. So this is Ata Shri Krishna Namadi na bhaved grayam indriyai sevan mukhe hi jivvado swayam eva spuratyadha. And the meaning of that is this. Therefore, material senses cannot appreciate Krishna's holy name, form, qualities, and pastimes. When a conditioned soul is awakened to Krishna consciousness and renders service by using his tongue to chant the Lord's holy name and taste the remnants of the Lord's food, the tongue is purified and one gradually comes to understand who Krishna really is. Haribol! And then you get captured by Krishna's beauty, captured by his beautiful form, his sweet flute playing, his enchanting face, his enchanting necklaces and garlands and amulets and rings and shark-shaped earrings on his beautiful ears, his beautiful smile. Krishna's smile is very attractive. His wonderful qualities, of which his mercy is the topmost, and his sweet pastimes with the gopis, with the cows, with the gopas, with his mother and father, Nanda and Yashoda, and Vrindavan Dham. You become enchanted by all these things. At present, we are not enchanted. Why? Because we are contaminated. We don't have taste. Like the deceased man who cannot taste sweet sugar candy is still suffering from bhava rog, from the fever of material desires, attachments, wanting this, wanting that, wanting to go here, go there, get this, get that, taste this, taste that, have this, have that. This has been going on for millions of lifetimes. The senses are driving us. And on the material platform, it is not even happiness. It is just some relief from distress. Oh, I'm hungry, I eat food, I'm thirsty, I get a drink, I'm very tired, I go to sleep. These are the things we call happiness. But actually, they're just different sensations. Sometimes it's a pleasurable sensation and sometimes not so pleasurable. But that's all. But transcendental pleasure is very different. Transcendental pleasure gives unending joy, which is limitless, which is ever increasing, and which perfectly satisfies the soul. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, Dhyan Yoga chapter, let's see if I pulled it up and kept it ready. Yeah, there we go. This particular verse, the translation of one particular verse, it's 6:20 to 23. So I will read out just one for saving time. Sukham atyantikam yattad buddhigrayam atindriyam veti yatra na chaivayam sthitas chalati tatvataha. The translation of this is so beautiful, you will just fall in love with it. In the state of perfection called trance or samadhi, one's mind is completely restrained from material, mental activities by practice of yoga. This perfection is characterized by one's ability to see the self by the pure mind and to relish and rejoice in the self. In that joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness, realized through transcendental senses. Established thus, one never departs from the truth, and upon gaining this, he thinks there is no greater gain. Being situated in such a position, one is never shaken, even in the midst of greatest difficulty. This indeed is actual freedom from all miseries arising from material contact. Haribol, devotees, we have so much to look forward to. Just see how much encouragement we get from this verse. Yes, right now we are struggling. The material energy pounces and catches us like a cat plays with a mouse. Sometimes we are affected by adhyatmika, sometimes by adibhautika, sometimes adidaivika. But gradually, by practice of yoga, we can become free from all material miseries and relish and enjoy the transcendental self, because one has established one's, or rather re-established, the transcendental connection with the Lord and is enjoying happiness within. And once one reaches this point, we think there is no greater gain. This is the greatest gain, regaining our true selves. Satchit Ananda, eternal, full of knowledge, full of bliss, completely in love with Krishna, and every moment simply seeing Krishna, enjoying Krishna, serving Krishna in a pure and pristine atmosphere of the spiritual world. And we can attain that even in this material body. Yes, it's possible. By practice, we can reach that point where we are completely detached from material miseries and material happiness also, and situated in the transcendental self. Yes, it's possible. Let me go to Bhagavad Gita 14:20, and I will share that verse with you, where Srila Prabhupada is clearly explaining to us that even while in this transcendental body, in this material body, one can relish transcendental happiness with purified senses. Gunan etan aditya trin dehi deha samudbhavan janma mrityu jara dukkhair vimukto amritam ashnute. When the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes associated with the material body, he can become free from birth, death, old age, and their distresses, and can enjoy nectar even in this life. Purport. It's a short purport, so I'll read it out for you. How one can stay in the transcendental position, even in this body, in full Krishna consciousness, is explained in this verse. The Sanskrit word dehi means embody. Although one is within this material body, by his advancement in spiritual knowledge, he can be free from the influence of the modes of nature. He can enjoy the happiness of spiritual life even in this body, because after leaving this body, he's certainly going to the spiritual sky. But even in this body, he can enjoy spiritual happiness. In other words, devotional service in Krishna consciousness is the sign of liberation from material entanglement. And this will be explained in the 18th chapter. When one is freed from the influence of the modes of material nature, he enters into devotional service. So this is what is being explained over here, that only through purified senses we can have real happiness and real pleasure. And Krishna wants us to have that, because that is our real position. We are also eternal. We are also full of knowledge and bliss, but having forgotten all that and wanting to lord it over material nature, we left the spiritual world to come here. This is jailhouse. And because we wanted to rebel against the Lord, we are put into the jail, and now we are trying to get back to the Lord. So therefore, we need his protection, because without the protection of the Lord, it is very difficult for the living entity to not be pulled this way and that way by the forces of Maya. He is the protector of cows and Brahminical culture. So Srila Prabhupada explains that these three things actually make up an organized human civilization. And what are they? Cow protection, Brahminical culture, and worship of the deity form of the Lord. These are the three pillars of an organized human society. And Prabhupada says, unless we come at least to this platform, it's animal society. So you can see now what a state we are in. It's animal society. And Krishna consciousness, this ISKCON movement, is giving a head to society by training Brahmanas in how to live as human beings and come above the animalistic level of eating, sleeping, mating, defending. And anyone can become Brahmana. Once, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj's disciples, they had gone to England to preach on his order. And there was some Marquess of Zetland or something like that. I don't know, some aristocrat. He had been in India and he had some idea of Brahminical culture. He said, "Can you make me a Brahmana?" And they said, "Yes, we can make you a Brahmana." So how is that? How can that happen? Says you have to follow this process. And you have to refrain from four activities, which is no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, and no illicit sex. And you know what was his reply? Impossible. So if you want to remain on the animal platform, simply enjoying the senses on the material platform, temporary happiness, followed by distress and suffering. Again, go for happiness. Again, distress, suffering. It's like the donkey and the carrot and the stick. There is no end to it. But the man of intelligence, he starts thinking, why I should keep suffering? Happiness, suffering, happiness, suffering. Isn't there a place where I can be permanently happy? Where all my desires will be fulfilled to perfection? Where my happiness will never end? Where I will have perfect peace, perfect joy, perfect love, perfect everything? Yes, there is that place, but we have to qualify to go to that place. Which is that, but I think it's 522. Let me see if I can pull that up. Where a man of intelligence does not take part in the sources of misery, which are due to contact with the material senses. Instead, he looks for permanent happiness. Let me see if I'm on the right track. I think it is 522, but I'm not sure. It could be in the 6th chapter also. Oh yeah, it is 522. An intelligent yehi samsparsha jabhoga dukkayonaya evate adi antavanta kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. An intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery, which are due to contact with the material senses. O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and an end, so the wise man does not delight in them. So material sense pleasure, due to contact with material senses, it is temporary, followed by suffering. Again, you run after it, again suffering. So this body itself being temporary, the liberated soul starts thinking, no, I don't want this. I want real pleasure. So in the Padma Puran, it is said, Ramante yogino nante satyanande chidakmani iti ram pade nasau param brahma vidiyate. The mystics derive unlimited transcendental pleasures from the absolute truth. And therefore, the supreme absolute truth, personality of Godhead, is also known as Ram. Ram means the supreme pleasure potency of the Lord. Okay, let's go back to the verse. So, by Brahminical culture, what happens? When we persistently, regularly, carefully, daily engage in the process of devotional service, we will slowly start getting purified and come to the mode of goodness, sattva good. And what good qualities will manifest? Truthfulness, equanimity. What's the meaning of equanimity? It means being able to be steady either in happiness or distress and not getting overwhelmed by either. We'll have control of our senses. We'll be able to tolerate, have forbearance. We'll be simple without duplicity. We'll have general knowledge, we'll have transcendental knowledge, and we will develop firm faith in Vedic wisdom because we are seeing that following this is actually making me happy. I'm getting less and less affected by the material energy. I'm able to engage in loving service to the Lord. I'm actually becoming peaceful. So when we see all these things, we realize, yes, I can put my faith over here. There is no cheating happening here. And haven't we all got so much cheated by the material energy? Material energy is very alluring. You know, Maya is very alluring. She presents something that looks so alluring, but then she doesn't deliver. After that, you get a kick. It's like the golden apple, but which has poison in it. It looks very alluring, but if you take a bite, finish. So this is how she acts because she wants to keep all the nonsense out of Krishna's world. But when we come to real knowledge, then we begin to develop what the quality of the soul already has, all these good qualities. And after surpassing the Brahminical stage, one has to go beyond and become a devotee. Because remember, simply becoming a Brahmana and having all Brahminical perfections is not going to be pleasing to the Lord until we engage in loving service to Him in one of the rasas, which is mentioned over here. Madhurya is the sweetest. Conjugal, Vatsalya is parental, Sakhya is as a friend, Shanta is neutral, and Dasya is a servant of the Lord. So we can develop any of these rasas according to our propensity, according to our innate nature, and rekindle that loving connection with Lord. But we will not be able to do this if we stay in Rajagun, Tamagun. That is also being clearly explained. The Lord will only get attracted when we at least reach the mode of goodness. One must develop these qualities because only on that platform our devotional service actually begins. So you may say, oh, I have not reached that platform. Then what? How am I able to engage in devotional service? It is the mercy of the spiritual master. We are not so qualified, we are not so pure, but our spiritual master is so merciful. He takes our impure, mixed up, contaminated devotional service, purifies it, and offers it to the Lord. See how merciful is the spiritual master. It is by his mercy that we are able to engage in devotional service. And what kind of person is attractive to the Lord? One who is without duplicity. One has actually developed the qualities of a Brahmana. You may say, oh, that means only Brahmanas are attractive. No. Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, Brahmanas, all can engage in loving devotional service and become very, very pleasing and attractive to the Lord. Look at Arjuna. He was a Kshatriya, but he had qualities of goodness. He had, in fact, divine qualities. The Lord says, do not worry, O son of Kunti, for you have the divine qualities. Huh? And in that particular chapter, divine and demoniac natures, Krishna reassures him because he's a very soft-hearted, very compassionate Vaishnava. And he's feeling so bad. How can I kill all these people? Injustice has been done. He has actually every right to fight to get back his kingdom. But he's so overwhelmed with compassion for all of them. He says, what's the use of killing all these people and enjoying a kingdom? I don't want it. Then Krishna starts explaining the Gita and why he wants the war to happen, to re-establish righteous rule. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chaduskritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. I want to annihilate these miscreants. I want to re-establish the principles of religion. To deliver the pious, to annihilate the miscreants, to re-establish the principles of religion. I myself appear millennium after millennium. So when he explains all this, then Arjuna says, Karishe vachanam tava. All right, I agree. I am now firm and free from all doubt. I will act according to your instructions. So this is the mercy of the Lord on Arjuna, and we are receiving the same mercy by Srila Prabhupada's wonderful books. We are gaining transcendental knowledge, and our minds, hearts, senses, everything is getting purified. And as we get more and more purified, we start feeling more and more peaceful. We start becoming more and more contented and satisfied. And then we actually start feeling transcendental pleasure in offering loving service to Krishna. It's a gradual process. But we need to reach the mode of goodness. With Rajagun and Tamagun, we cannot make it. We need to reach at least the mode of goodness, and then only we can transcend that to go to the transcendental platform. You may say, oh, I'm still in Rajagun, Tamagun. Me too. What to do? Don't worry. By the mercy of the pure, bona fide spiritual master who takes all of us at whatever level we are, slowly, slowly, we can get purified of even these lower modes and come to the mode of goodness. And then from the mode of goodness, then one comes to the mode of transcendence. We cannot jump straight from ignorance to goodness. We have to gradually go from ignorance to passion, from passion to goodness, from goodness to transcendence. Of course, some of you are already very, very pious, very, very good birth, coming from good backgrounds. So maybe you're not like me. So I don't want to say that everybody is like me, but just explaining the process. Maybe all of you are already at a very high level of goodness and are easily able to practice Krishna consciousness. But speaking of myself, I still struggle because I'm infected with the lower modes, and I have to work hard to reach the mode of goodness and to become steady in my devotional service, which is the platform of Nishtha, steady devotional service. But by the mercy of Guru, we can attain that stage. Once, some of Srila Prabhupada's disciples, they asked Srila Prabhupada, we have been practicing Krishna consciousness, but we don't seem to be making progress and reaching the mode of goodness. What to do? So Prabhupada said, you are like wet wood. First, the wood has to dry out. Then only you can catch fire. So we have to be patient in this process. So fire cannot be kindled from raw earth unless there's wood. Although, of course, it's only from the earth that the trees grow and then we get wood. Still, if you just take mud, you cannot make fire out of it. It is transformed into another form of material energy, which is wood, and then we can get fire. Similarly, we have to transcend the lower modes to reach the mode of goodness and then go on to transcendence. And then finally, Krishna is all perfect and he is the Lord. So there is no question of asking, how is Krishna? Is he all right? Has he fallen sick? Has he recovered? How is his health? For us, Jiva Tattvas, all these questions apply. But the Lord, his transcendental body never deteriorates, never changes, and is always blissful Satchit Ananda Vigraha. And he's in Dwaraka, where he is reigning as the king of Dwaraka, where all pious men assemble. The Lord stays only where pious men assemble and take pleasure in that, and he takes pleasure in glorifying the supreme truth. And there's a very beautiful verse, Naham Tishtami Vaikunthe. Let me see if I can pull it up. Where Krishna is explaining, oh Narad, I am not in Vaikuntha. I am not in Naham Tishtami Vaikunthe. Let's see if it comes up. There we go. Here, as the Supreme Lord himself confirms, I'll just highlight that part for you. Naham tishtami vaikunthe yoginam hridaye suva tatra tishtami narada yatra gayanti madbhaktaha. My dear Narad, actually I do not reside in my abode Vaikuntha, nor do I reside within the hearts of the yogis, but I reside in that place where my pure devotees chant my holy name and discuss my form, pastimes, and qualities. Because of the presence of the Lord in the form of the transcendental vibration, the Vaikuntha atmosphere is evoked. So, this is the final part of the purport where the Lord says he takes pleasure where pious men assemble and speak about the Lord, glorifying him. So we pray that Krishna is present here, bringing pleasure to all our hearts. Even though your servant Sridevi Dasi is not so expert, nor is she very pure, but Krishna is saying, I am there in the discussions of my pastimes. So hopefully this has brought you some transcendental pleasure, and we can now stop the share and open up for questions, comments, corrections, criticisms, everything. Hare Krishna. Is everybody able to hear me? I hope so.
Yes, Mataji, we can hear you.
Okay. Were you able to hear the whole class, or you didn't hear anything?
No, we heard the full class, Mataji. You're fine. It was so nice to hear you. Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, and all glories to assembled devotees. Thank you. It was so nice to see you smiling again and giving thoughts enthusiastically. Thank you.
Your prayers and your blessings have made me well. Thank you.
My prayers, I can't bless you. You are too far high for me.
No.
I pray definitely.
Your prayers are very essential, and I'm not high at all. You come and see me over here. Shrimati knows how I am, so you can ask her. I also struggle. I also go through ups and downs. I also keep moaning and bewailing how I can, do more instead of, doing all kinds of nonsense. So I'm also lame, and I need the stick of mercy of the Vaishnavas.
Yeah, that we all need it, definitely, especially Guru Maharaj's mercy.
Yes.
And he's so kind enough
and the mercy of our God family also, and the mercy of the Vaishnavas. It's because all the Vaishnavas are praying for each other that we can survive in bhakti.
That's true. Very true, yeah. Thank you. I just wanted to thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
I'm home today, so I said, let me get chance to listen to the class today.
Yeah. Very nice to have you, Sukhava.
Yeah.
Very nice. Sorry about, trying to host and pull up things at the same time talk. So there's sometimes a little gap in between. but Satyabhama had to go to the temple, so she couldn't host today. So little breaks were there. Wasn't such a
That is a talent of multitasking, Mataji, which you only have got it.
Oh no, all mothers have this, Sukava. You know that. All mummies have to do this. Whoever raises children has to do 10 different things at the same time, right?
True.
Especially when kids are small. Kid is crying, you're holding him, then you're frying the papads, then somebody is ringing the doorbell, then the phone rings at the same time, and somebody is yelling from the other room. You've been through all that.
True. Joy of being women.
So we have Mohini Devi Mataji, we have Scarlett Mataji, we have Akshay Balaram Prabhu. I don't know who is that, but welcome. We have Srimati, we have Soumyadatri, Vishwapavani, Revati, Sonal, Bhadra, and Sukavaha. Come on, surely you can ask some nice questions and benefit everyone. Or you can share something, no problem. Bhadra Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Guru Maharaj. All glories to your wonderful service.
Please
Your
accept mine.
energy.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Gurudev.
Your energy. I need some of your energy.
I need some of everyone's energy. I'm only energized by the presence of Vaishnavas, honestly.
That is so true.
Yeah. The moment class is over, I'm back again. Morose, dull, half dead, half mad.
Yeah. And when you give the class, it feels like you are tasting the sweetness of Krishna. So you are it's just pouring out, and it's just, yeah, hopefully it reaches to us. So that's what my prayers. But one question I have is not related to this class, but I don't know whether my understanding is correct. When we do Mangala Arti, we are glorifying our spiritual master. Is that correct?
Yes.
So, but we are offering Arti to the Lord. So, what should be our mood when we are offering Arti but glorifying our spiritual master?
So the pujari on the altar is offering different upchar, different items to the Lord, but we are all singing Guru Ashtakam or Guru Vandanam. So you're asking, how do we understand that? It is only by the mercy of the spiritual master that we are able to even offer that to the Lord. And this is the program given to us by Srila Prabhupada. This is authorized that we first offer glorification of spiritual master, but we always follow it up by glorification of the Lord. We never offer only worship to Guru. Immediately after that, we follow up with Hare Krishna Mahamantra or Nashigadev or some prayers of glorification to the Lord. They always go together. You will see that. In fact, if it is not done, that is inappropriate, because it is through Guru that we can worship the Lord. So offer the Gurvashtakam prayers, and always after that, Hare Krishna Mahamantra must follow. That is the protocol. So then we are not taking any offenses.
So
our mood
of gratitude to our spiritual master that we can serve the Lord directly. Yeah.
Exactly. And in Gurvashtakam, verse number 7 and 8 is actually telling us the position of Guru. Who is he? He is
Mm.
making beautiful arrangements for the divine couple in the spiritual world.
Mm.
Nikunja yuno ratikeli sidhyai yayali bhiyu kirapekshaniya tatrati daksha rati vallabhasya vande guru shri charanaravindam. Huh? So, who is he? He is a resident of the spiritual world. And he has come down on the order of Krishna to take us back home, back to Krishna. So we should never think that he is, just one of us. Never. He's a transcendental personality. And in his mercy, he has come down to this horrible material world to save us. So in our prayers, we are offering our gratitude. We are glorifying his divine lotus feet. Vande Guru Shri Charanaravindam, Vande Guru Shri Charanaravindam, because he is above all material energies. He is situated in transcendence. He belongs to the spiritual world. So we offer great admiration, veneration, worship, gratitude. That is our mood when we sing the Gurvashtakam. He is pouring rain clouds of mercy on us. We are roasting in the fire of material existence. And the spiritual master is pouring cooling rain showers so that we can take shelter at his lotus feet. He's teaching us how to cleanse the temple, how to engage in deity worship. He's offering nice foodstuffs to the Lord. Each of those verses, have beautiful meanings. So, in fact, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, anyone who rises early morning in the Brahma Muhurta hours and loudly chants these Gurvashtakam prayers is guaranteed service to Radha and Krishna at the time of death and will go back to them. So always sing Samsara Dava Nalalidha Loka Ranaya Karunya Ghana Ghanatvam Praptasya Kalyana Gunanavasya Vande Guru Shri Charanaravindam Vande Guru Shri Charanaravindam. Like that, the whole Gurvashtakam is so beautiful. Describing the spiritual master. Mahaprabhu Kirtana Nitya Gita. He's so gladdened by the Sankirtan movement. He's singing and dancing, and sometimes the hairs of his body stand on end. Sometimes they're shivering. Sometimes he's just still. So many ecstatic symptoms of the pure devotee are being described. So beautiful, each and every verse. Can go into ecstasy just singing that. Isn't it? And feel so happy and grateful that such a great personality has come here to save me. Very nice.
So much sense, yeah. It's nice to, when we understand, and if we have that mood, then it makes more effective, and we have got more feeling to whatever service we are doing. So thank you very much.
And actually, we must cultivate that mood. We must cultivate. You have raised a very good question, because if we cultivate that mood, that wow, such a great personality has come to save me, how grateful we will be, and how enthusiastic we be to engage in loving service to Krishna, because we'll remember it is because of his mercy that I'm getting a chance to do this and go back home at the end. Isn't that wonderful?
That's really, we cannot understand the depth of compassion and mercy. Yeah, it's really, I cannot understand.
Yeah, it is unfathomable. You're right. Guru Maharaj says, and it is described in the scriptures, that we can never, ever repay our debt to the spiritual master. It's a joke even to consider that one can repay one's debt, because there is nothing in this world that we can do or offer to the spiritual master for his coming down to save us and take us back home, back to Godhead.
So true. So true.
Sakshat Dharitvena Samasta Shate. He is the Lord himself who has come down in the form of Guru. And then the last one, without the mercy of spiritual master, we cannot make any advancement. Only by pleasing him, we are pleasing the Lord. So we must strictly follow the orders of the spiritual master.
Thank you so much
Thank you.
for
You asked
explaining
nice
so
questions.
beautifully and with from the heart.
Thank you.
So, thank you. If nobody has got a question, I have got two things I was just trying to remember.
Sure.
Pastime of Srila Prabhupada, that somewhere there was a need of some service and the things were not ready when Srila Prabhupada on time. So Srila Prabhupada got very angry, and at that time a neophyte devotee just said that Swamiji, you always emphasize whenever situation like this comes and you just chant Hare Krishna. So why don't you chant? So Srila Prabhupada straight away took the bead bag and started chanting. So I don't remember exactly where and how, what exactly happened.
It
Do
was
you
Vyasa
have,
Puja. It was the
can
Vyasa
you,
Puja. Yeah. And they were very, neophyte. They didn't know anything. For Vyasa Puja, you have to have garland ready. You have to have flower petals ready. You have to have, the whole paraphernalia ready to worship the Guru. You have to bathe his lotus feet. All the things are there. And nothing was ready. So Prabhupada got very angry because it is a very important thing to know how to worship the spiritual master on his appearance day is an important part of our training. And so he said, where is Pushpa? Pushpa means flower. So they didn't realize, they thought Pushpanna, one type of rice. So they went running to get rice and Prabhupada was furious. He said, tomorrow I will teach you how to do Vyasa Puja. Because they didn't know anything. And then he taught them what is to be done, how it is to be done, when it is to be done, what sequence it is to be done. We have to be very careful because we are dealing with a representative of the Lord himself. If someone comes from the Prime Minister's office into our school building or home, how will we treat him? As though the Prime Minister himself has come, isn't it? Because there's such a 10 Downing Street man from there has come to my school, to my office, to my home. How will I be? I'll be very respectful. I'll carefully follow the protocol. Now, this is a person who is representing the Lord himself and who has come down to this material world. So how much respect we must give, how much worship we must offer. You see?
Yeah, and it's just humility of Srila Prabhupada. Even he knew there is nothing right on disciples. His disciples knows nothing. But even in that situation, when somebody neophyte devotee mentioned, reminded that to chant, he straight away started chanting. It's the humility even in this situation, even though how great he is and how, and that's just touches the heart. And if somebody just corrected, or if we say is corrected, and he straight away accepted that, and he straight away started to, yeah.
And
So
that is an illustration that his anger was not on the material platform, it was transcendental anger. Because Transcendental anger is for purifying the disciple. It is for
Yeah.
correcting, chastising, and purifying the disciple.
Yeah.
An ordinary man, if he had heard that, would get even more angry.
Mm.
Right? You'll say, first
Yeah.
you've done something wrong, and now you're trying to correct me. I'm going to punch you in the face.
Yeah. So true. But in other, it was completely opposite. That, it didn't touched Srila
Yes.
Prabhupada. That, and whatever, yeah, I cannot
There's
explain,
a
but
difference between material anger and transcendental anger. Just like Srila Prabhupada would give the example of Hanuman, He was very angry, but he used that anger in service to Ram. He was very angry that Sita Mata was kidnapped, and he set fire to whole of Lanka. But that was to teach Ravan a lesson. It was not for personal aggrandizement or for personal revenge. Oh, you captured me, you burnt my tail now. No, it was to teach the fellow a lesson that who do you think you are? You have captured Mother Sita, and the Lord himself will come to destroy you. This is just a small taste of what is going to come. So it was done in service to the Lord. So that's transcendental anger. There was no personal axe to grind. It was not done out of revenge.
Yeah. So that's really. And do you have any reference of where it was, which Vyas Puja, or where exactly? It's just I'm asking because
I think it was London Bury Place, actually. I think it was London 7 Bury Place, if I'm not mistaken. But I can research it and I can let you know.
Okay.
I think, I'm not 100% sure. So let me look into that and get back to you.
Okay. And we are running, we have passed 1 hour. I don't know whether I can ask one more.
Of course, please do.
Yeah. And there is another pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that don't remember the name, but is somebody scholarly wanted to prove himself that he knows everything and more than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he, if I'm not wrong, then he wanted to basically defeat Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that he knows more. But when Mahaprabhu I don't know how to phrase this, but even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew that what his intention, and he's not, he doesn't know the essence of bhakti, but at the same time, he didn't want this person to embarrass. So he didn't correct it in the assembly of but he privately met him and explained and corrected and
Sarvabhauma, are you talking about Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya?
I don't know exactly what, if you know, and what exactly is the pastime, and if you can tell a little bit about it, it would be so nice.
Yeah, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was a greatly eminent scholar. He was a very, very eminent scholar in Vedanta, but it was all impersonalist philosophy. And seeing Lord Chaitanya, such a young sannyasi, singing, dancing, in ecstasy, seeing Jagannath, he realized this is some very great personality. But then seeing him singing, dancing, he said, what is this? You're a sannyasi and you're doing all this sentimental stuff. Why don't you study the Vedanta properly? Come, I will teach you. Sit down and hear from me. So for 7 days and 7 nights, he was expounding on and on about Vedanta according to his own interpretation. And Mahaprabhu said nothing. Out of respect, he simply stayed silent. So this person started getting, what is this? He's not saying one thing. He's just listening quietly, not saying anything. So then after some time, he said, you're listening so silently, so quietly. I don't know if you're understanding anything. So Lord Chaitanya said, I can understand the Vedanta very clearly, but it is your explanations which are obscuring the real meaning. And then he just smashed him after that by telling him that what you're explaining is actually obscuring the real meaning. The meaning is very clear. And then he told him that this impersonalist philosophy is not going to help in understanding the Lord. Basically, he explained to him. And then when he gave that revelation and then he understood this is the Supreme Lord himself, he just completely surrendered to Lord Chaitanya and became a very ardent follower of Lord Chaitanya. Very, very ardent follower. And he was just a sold out devotee after that point, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. In fact, he composed this beautiful song. And after that, he didn't want to hear anything except Gauranga's name. Gauranga all the time. Bhaja Gaurango, Kahu Gaurango, Lahu Gaurangera Naam Re. Je Jana Gauranga Bhaje, Se Hoy Amara Pran Re. Bhaja Gaurango, Kahu Gaurango, Lahu Gaurangera Naam Re. And then he describes Lord Chaitanya's mood, his mission in this song by singing. Gauranga bhajile, Gauranga japile hoy, dukhera basan re. Whoever takes Gauranga's name in japa, or whoever sings the glories of Gauranga, all his miseries will be over. Gauranga bhajile. Gauranga bolia, dubahu tulia, nachia beda re. Taking Gauranga's name, whoever raises their hands and sings and dances, he gains Gauranga. So he becomes so ardent a follower that he sings and dances now. So that is how Lord Chaitanya captured Sarvabhauma's heart and made him a great devotee. But he was actually impersonalist.
But is there any way that he didn't correct? He made sure that nobody was there, so he doesn't get
Embarrassed.
Yeah, is that something that you know of? That what exactly?
Yeah, he and Sarvabhauma were alone. Only he and Sarvabhauma were alone. He did not say anything in the assembly. Because Sarvabhauma himself said, I will sit down and I will teach you. You're just a sentimentalist. This is not good. You're a sannyasi. You should not be a sentimentalist singing and dancing like this. So it was Sarvabhauma who said, you come, I will sit down and I will teach you. And so Lord Chaitanya agreed to that. But he did not embarrass him by saying anything in public in front of his disciples. But Lord Chaitanya knew how to deal with each and every person. Some people would just finish them off, who are very proud, who are very puffed up, who are very arrogant, like Keshav Kashmiri. He just composed 100 verses on Ganga on the spot. And Lord Chaitanya, he pointed out 2 mistakes in that recitation. And that Keshav Kashmiri was astounded. And that night he got Saraswati in a dream. First he was praying to her, how is it that, you make me make mistake, because he was worshipping Saraswati. And Saraswati said, that is my Lord. Go and fall down at his feet and offer him your respects and worship him. He is my Lord. So of course, next day he goes and offers respects and offers his worship to the Lord. So Lord Chaitanya did different, pastimes with different people. That is true.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mataji.
Thank you.
That's so nice. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for keeping the discussion going and enlivening everyone with such nice questions. So I know everybody else on the call, but I don't know who is Akshay Balaram Das. Can you speak something about yourself or introduce yourself, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances on Constitutional Prabhupada. Thank you so much for the class, Mataji, and thank you for hosting the class also.
Welcome.
Thank you, Mataji. I don't have any questions, but I just want to announce a little time change coming up this Sunday, from Sunday onwards. As daylight savings time is going to end in UK from Sunday onwards, there is a time change for our daily class. 12 p.m. UK time will be constant standard for us. For India, it will be 5:30 p.m. And for US, it is going to change to 8 a.m. Eastern and 7 a.m. Central. So again, November 5th, the US is going to change the time. So then I'll announce again the change. But for India, it will be constant like 5:30 p.m. IST. Mataji.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very
I just
much.
posted in the God Family group and announcements group. So everyone will know the change, Matajis. Please join accordingly.
Okay. Do you know who is Akshay Balaram Das?
No, Mataji.
Okay. All right. So if
Okay,
there are no
Mataji.
further
Yeah.
questions, no comments, no further sharings or realizations, maybe we can end the call here. Is that okay?
Yes, Mataji, yeah.
Okay. Thank you all so very much. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya cha patita nam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna. Jai
Hare
Shri
Thank
Prabhupada.
you so much.
Jai Guru.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you all so much. Hare Bol.
Hari Bol,
Mataji, you
Hare
can
Krishna.
stop the live.
Hare
Live.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. How do I do that? Stop the
You
live
click
first?
on more, you'll see the in Zoom.
I'm not seeing the more. Okay, there. Yeah. And then stop